So it was Monday, the 4th of December, at 5:30 in the morning. Woke up by this neighbour above me who's supposed to be not over because they're saying it's an empty apartment, but he is up there, obviously. I suppose at least there's nobody else up. And I was supposed to be kind of walked through this story. Someone was supposed to take my story and walk me through it there now, and yet again they're after pulling out again. Got an email there over the weekend, and the person's after pulling out. So that's how much they're trying to keep a lid on this stuff. But my wife is after saying she's going to help me walk me through the story, and I'll explain it. And kind of the story will speak for itself, being honest with you, and you'll kind of understand why this needs to be suppressed, if I'm being honest with you. Not to mention, like, all my ex's lies, and like the whole fiasco of what went on in that courtroom. You know, the lies that came out of this woman, and kind of, I understand the courts have to side with women, because this is the way it's been explained to me by a judge actually in the courtroom who said he sympathised with me, and that he tried to explain to me basically that the kind of courts are kind of set up to protect the women. She was allowed to kind of lie non-stop, and I'm going to like explain all this. As I said, my wife is going to help me kind of talk my way through this and explain it to you. But the solicitor I had, bogey solicitor, as I said, go back to my previous videos, shows that she was playing both sides. Caught her coming out of a consultation room, caught her winking over at my ex. I gave her information to see, was she playing both sides? She carried the information over the other side. She got rid of me only witness, my sister, by placing fear in her, telling her that her private stuff was going to be brought up. What else? There was a person coming to do the report, a Dr. Teresa Graham. She purposely stalled this for over 8 months, and the judge was looking for this report to be made, and I only found this out recently. Well, not recently, like a couple of years ago I found out that they never even approached this woman, Dr. Teresa Graham, and I showed the paperwork of this in one of the last videos, but they never approached her to come do the report. And the reason that was done was they wanted to put this other person on the case that was going to kind of fucking doctor the case, and which is exactly what she done. And this woman was part of Waterford Tussle, which is the one thing that I didn't want, because I had 2 previous engagements with Waterford Tussle, and I found it to be one of the most corrupt organisations ever. And they can look into these engagements and they can see whether or not I'm telling the truth. And then after catching me solicitor kind of basically doing all this kind of stuff, I said I was going to go leave the courtroom and I was going to go home and make a complaint about her, that I had enough evidence once and for all. And by the time I got home to make a complaint about this solicitor, she was after leaving the courthouse and running over and lodging a complaint against me. So my complaint was dealt with. I actually got a response saying that she was after making a complaint about me, and that my complaint wouldn't be upheld based on her making a complaint about me. I know, nonsense. But anyway, she deleted my file. I eventually made a complaint, and this is a letter of her saying she'd destroyed my file, that the 5 years was up. I was at the Contact Law Society, and they said that she had to retain the file for 5 years. She had a legal obligation, and that's why she's acknowledging the 5 years that I was saying, yeah, the 5 years to retain the file. So I went to my emails to get my emails to print them off, because I'd have my copy of my emails. And when I got my emails and I printed them off, I noticed that my emails, all the emails that would have to have been hacked on my account and deleted, they were the same emails that she was at to removing from my file. Now, how can that be explained? Do you know what I mean? But to cut a long story short, I couldn't prove that the 5 years wasn't up. Obviously, my emails would have to have been hacked and deleted, but she somehow knew this. But after about a year, then I got into the Google Cloud, and I managed to get into some of my emails again. And there's loads of emails. I got loads of emails back, and they show that the 5 years wasn't up. This is from 31st of May 2016. She's acting on my case there. And the letter saying that she destroyed my file was 25th of January 2021. And there's loads of emails, I'm not going to show them more. But that solicitor's caught red-handed lying. Do you know what I mean? And they purposely put this other woman on the case who absolutely tried to destroy my case. She got caught lying also. And she lied so much in the report that was given to the judge. The judge dismissed the report. That's how much the lies was in this report, that the judge could see through it straight away. Yeah, so I've been pushing for the Minister of Justice to kind of look into this. Based on this kind of stuff, there's documented proof, like. And in court, I signed over my passwords to Tussle in court, right? And I wasn't asked for it. I volunteered these, right? And this is the letter, sorry. And I signed over my passwords. Why would you do that if you weren't asked for them. Well, there's a load of kind of sexual slander, a load of pornography going around. Apparently, they were supposed to be mine logged into. So as an act of good faith, I signed over all my passwords to Tussle in 2015. And I was informed after that I shouldn't have done this, that they legally shouldn't have even taken them. That I was informed that I shouldn't have done this and that I should contact Tussle and I should request these letters back. So I did. And after a lot of running around from Tussle, they sent me from A to B and fucking like, they just, you wouldn't believe the hassle I got from this crowd. Like, then they were saying they needed photographic ID and all this kind of stuff. Then I had to fill out a kind of like a Freedom of Information Act. They basically just ran me around. I think it was for 18 months. And then they sent me out a letter. And I said, they basically said they were going to give me a copy of the oak that I signed. And I said, you legally hadn't the right to take this, that I didn't want a copy. I wanted the original piece of paper that I signed back. This letter here is basically saying that they can't give me my original form that I signed, that they can only give me a copy of it. Do you know what I mean? No, they had no legal right to take this, so I can't get my own fucking form back that I signed over my passwords back. And this is the 15th of February 2022. And I signed them over in 2015 for court to a kind of a person doing the report for court that I was told was not part of Waterford Tussle, and my solicitor never had her before in a case, and kind of she had a good name. Turned out my solicitor did have her on a case many times. She has a terrible name and she was part of Waterford Tussle, but I found all that out afterwards. But I can't get my own passwords back from Tussle. Do you know what I mean? Despite there was no legal like request for these or anything like this, and they won't give them back to me. They can give me a copied letter. So what good is a copied letter when they still have the original form? So again, the Minister of Justice should be pushing for an inquiry into this kind of stuff, because this is not normal. Just like this solicitor destroying me file is not normal. That's not normal. I've spoke about Waterford Council and the whole drama, how we ended up getting evicted from the house, and how two workers, Roisin Doherty and Leo Kennedy, got caught searching my mother's fucking bedroom. And this was covered up by Joe Daniels and Waterford Council, and I've done everything in that to try and kind of like make complaints, go through the process. They won't let me go through this process. I just want to show you something. There's the file. There's my file from Waterford Council, right? That's my file that I was kind of keeping track of, right? So I applied under the Freedom of Information Act. And this is what they sent me out. That's what they sent me out as my file. So look at the difference. So that's how much my file was edited by Waterford Council. Now that shouldn't be looked into. Of course that should be looked into. Like the accusations, what I'm saying about Roisin Doherty, Leo Kennedy, like, does it get more serious than that? Getting caught searching an elderly woman's fucking bedroom, do you know what I mean? So this is why all these tradesmen around Waterford are kind of like doing a little bit. Part of them may be members of Sinn Féin, part of them may be kind of like up the arse of Waterford Council, getting their contracts, let's be honest about it. And I'm not saying all tradesmen given contracts by Waterford Council, or even all Waterford Council workers are like this. I mean, which is what they're trying to say, that I'm accusing everyone and anyone. I'm not accusing everyone and anyone. There's a certain bunch of people within Waterford City Council, and it suits them. Because number one, they're rubbing shoulders with the likes of that fucking Halligan crowd up in Children's Group, which I've been like very vocal about. And then number two, they're part of the whole kind of Sinn Féin posse. And ever since like Mr. Conlan sent me wife a friend request, like, which they're desperate to kind of hide. There's the friend request there, by the way. They don't want that coming out either. They first tried to say that fucking we were lying, basically. Then when I proved that we weren't lying, then they tried to say that fucking there was a fake account. But it wasn't a fake account, because myself and my wife were on the account and we went through the account. So like, he's pulled within Waterford City Council, and not to mention his friendship with John Halligan, ex-minister, do you know what I mean? Needs to be scrutinised, if I'm being honest with you. But John Halligan's brother, Henry Halligan, interfered with my mother's funeral. I sent all these documents out to a priest, he was a family friend out in Ballybeg Church, and I sent these documents and more about this psychologist in Tussle, how she was recruiting for this cult, basically, that I unfortunately got mixed up in. And there's the cult that I was talking about that I got mixed up in. See the HSE like fucking promoting it. That'll tell you the pull that this woman has, the Baha'i religion. I was in that thing for fucking about 14 months, unfortunately. I'm going to explain all this in the story. But Mr. Conlan knew about all of this. Do you know what I mean? So as a spokesperson for fucking health for Sinn Féin, should you not be pushing this? Should you not be pushing some kind of transparency about the kind of like allegations on Children's Group for 20 years, instead of cozying up to John Halligan. And we all know the children's group is ran by Mary Halligan, which would be John Halligan's sister, or sorry, as they call it now, the Mary Halligan Foundation, which is nothing but a fucking smokescreen, let's be honest about it, to cover up kind of like who knew what about what up there, if I'm being honest with you. And you go back to my earlier TikTok videos, you have Ray Halligan, another brother, and he's trying to pass a threat through me to one of the girls who was going to be a potential witness in the case up there, despite the judge ruling on a case and giving somebody bail with really strict bail conditions that none of the victims were to be approached. And here you have this clown and he trying to pass a threat through me. And this was taken to Waterford Gardaí, and it's on me TikTok. Well, the very first video TikTok. And this was taken to Waterford Gardaí, and they wouldn't look into it because Waterford Gardaí for 20 years have facilitated this, do you know what I mean? By not fucking dealing with it. And what happened is they left it be done again and again and again, do you know what I mean? And they don't want me talking about this. But like that should be looked into. Do you know what I mean? If you have a fucking like state employed psychologist and her husband like recruiting for their fucking religion, it's not a religion, it's a cult. As I said, I was in it. This is based on my own experience now. And I'm going to talk about all of that, but that should be looked into. So there's mountains of documentation there, like, do you know what I mean? So our Minister of Justice, you're either complicit to this kind of corruption, do you know what I mean? And you're facilitating this corruption by keeping me in this grey area. Why can't you provide like some kind of legal representation for me? Hear me out just the once, one time only, just hear me out. Let me provide the documentation and then you can rule on it. And if you say it's unfounded, that's fine. I can take it to the European courts. And we all know the country at the moment is bending over backwards to fucking please the European fucking Union. Let's be honest about it. Here's your chance now to walk the walk. Let a citizen of Ireland confront your government by going to the European courts. Do you know what I mean? It's as simple as that. And I should be entitled to have a legal representation. Do you know what I mean? Like in order to fucking take in this case, should it not? And if you want to deal with the corruption, I have no like problem with like, if the Irish system wants to deal with the corruption, but I can't deal with it. How can I deal with the corruption? Waterford Council have edited my file. Do you know what I mean? To the point where like it's kind of non-existent. Let's be honest with you. You have the solicitor destroyed my file to hide something. Do you know what I mean? And then lied about the 5 years being up, and then when I proved that, no one looks into it. The LSRA said it was unfounded, despite it was fucking like documentation and paperwork. How's it unfounded if there's paperwork? Do you know what I mean? GSOC at the moment have several complaints about a Waterford Gardaí, and they won't answer me. They haven't answered me now in fucking about 8 months. And what they're doing is they're running down the statute of limitations so that they don't have to look into it. But all these people that have been named, or all these organisations, that have been named, they all feed into each other. Do you know what I mean? Like GSOC feeds into Waterford Gardaí to GSOC, the council into fucking the Gardaí into the council, Tusla into fucking the Guards, and like vice versa. Like you could go on, but they're all fucking interlinked. Do you know what I mean? And that whole crowd, up children's group, John Halligan, and fucking those around him, that whole kind of fiasco, which was covered up for years, they don't want me talking about this. They know I have messages about that, they know I have emails about this, and I'm not going to ruin a case that is outstanding, being honest with you, which is what they're trying to provoke me into doing. But when the time comes and when that's all wrapped up, I will read out those messages and I will read out those emails, and whatever kind of repercussions legally I have to face, I'll take it on the chin, and I don't have a problem, because I feel it's a kind of civil duty to read them out, and especially to kind of highlight how it's the same 3 or 4 fucking people named over and over and over again, and how those 3 people essentially left a certain person continued doing what he was doing. They knew what he was doing, and they continued by covering for him. They basically they're complicit to it. Let's be honest about it. And it'd be different like if he done it once and they got rid of him. They didn't. They left him up. No, what they done is they promoted the person to try and discredit the girls. This is what they tried to do. And I spoke about this only a couple of weeks ago. They had him on the grounds of the fucking charity. Do you know what I mean? Like, they had him back up there on the grounds, back around fucking young girls again. So they're basically like endangering them girls, you know. And they'll say he's innocent till proven guilty. Yeah, but fucking what happens if he's guilty? Then does that mean you're acknowledging that fucking that you place those girls in some kind of unsafe environment? Unless of course you know for some reason prior that he's going to be found not guilty. And judging by the way Waterford Gardaí has handled the case up to this point, I'm sure you know quite well he's going to be found not guilty. Because the DPP can only bring a case based on the evidence that's provided by Waterford Gardaí. That's what I was informed myself. Do you know what I mean? So let's just say Waterford Gardaí has purposely left certain aspects of that whole case out from the DPP to bring a shoddy case. And I spoke previously about one of these, how they put up on social media that a certain person up in Children's Group, it was nothing but a pervert, and the pull of this crowd, they were able to get the Gardaí to knock at the fucking girl's door and threaten her. Do you know what I mean? Now this is before any law changes or anything, so this would have been a civil law. So like he could have gone to a solicitor if he felt that way, but like someone had pull enough to ring the Gardaí and the Gardaí knock at her door and fucking threaten her. Do you know what I mean? And then I have me ex spying on my fucking page. They're trying to get me into court now in January, and what they're going to try and do, they're going to try and gag me. 100% they're going to try and gag me. And look, if it's a criminal matter, she can go to the fucking courts. On a criminal matter, she can go to the guards. If it's a civil matter or any of these kind of things, she can't. But she won't. She's going to the family laws because the family law is based to side with the woman. And she'll say that the kids are hearing me videos and all this, and it's having a kind of impact on their mental health. This is the avenue now she'll be told to go down. And she's told this by this psychologist in Tussle, because I'm exposing her for being a liar. So she's going to get her lies covered up with the assistance again of fucking Tussle. So I'm probably going to leave it there. And I just want to point out, she appeared in the two Norries. I just recently was going through my emails there. A couple of months before she appeared on the two Norries, right? I was been writing to the two Norries to try and get this story out. So like, it's very convenient that she appeared on that. And when she appeared on RTE, I also was writing to RTE a couple of months before that. So it goes to show you that my emails were being read. And what they're trying to do is they're trying to cut off all access from this story reaching the public mainstream. Do you know what I mean? But I'm going to keep going. I'm not in any way deterred whatsoever. I'm just notifying people of how yet another person willing to kind of talk with the story has pulled out. Again, siding with political influence and kind of concerns about their own kind of professional career, basically, which is fair enough of them, being honest with you, because this is a poison chalice. It kind of needs to be done by somebody that kind of has the integrity to see it through. And the Minister of Justice, there's like a large amount of fucking evidence. Even just there, I just showed like a couple of pieces of paper, but there's enough there to push for an inquiry. Stop telling me you can't do nothing about it and you can't like kind of get involved. You can push for a transparent inquiry. Do you know what I mean? And that alone, I'd imagine, would please those in the European Union, which we all know our country is only fucking too pleased to be kind of pleasing at the moment. Yeah, so I'll leave it there now, and I suppose I'll start uploading my videos now in a day or two. Right, thanks, bye. I jumped off the subject there, and there's a kind of one thing I meant to mention there. All those allegations about kind of Waterford Tussle and then the friend request from David Canal to my wife, that and many other stuff was actually sent to a priest in Ballybeg, privately addressed to him, and the secretary of the church was Henry Halligan, which is another brother of John Halligan, and these were printed off by Henry Halligan and they were passed back to fucking David Cunnan. So there you go, that's the friendship between this crew. So obviously this should all be looked into, like combine this with all the other bits of evidence. Do you know what I mean? If you go back to all my videos, I know they're badly put together and all that, but like there's enough there to kind of order an inquiry just to see what's what.